to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Sherry. Today I have for you 15 tips that you need to know before your voyage on the Galactic Starcruiser. My family and I went on the Galactic Starcruiser a couple months ago. I've been getting a lot of questions about our voyage over on Instagram, and so I came up with 15 tips that you need to know. Tip number 1. When you go to your muster station for the first time at 4 o'clock, it does not really matter which one that you pick, but I think it's best to try to position yourself in the center. So there'll be 4 muster stations that they'll arrange in the atrium, and I don't want to give too much away, but things happen both behind you and in front of you and up on the balcony. We positioned ourselves so that we could see the balcony very well and didn't see what was going on behind us. So tip number 1 is position yourself so you can see what's happening behind you, but also in front of you, so the middle is best. Tip number 2. When your voyage begins, when the adventure begins after 4 o'clock, there will be characters around the atrium. Try to get some FaceTime with them. Try to make conversation with them. I know it can be awkward, but when you start to talk to them and develop those relationships, that can change your story, and that could lead you to be invited to secret missions, secret meetings later in your voyage. Tip number 3, don't be afraid to go down a different path than other people that you're traveling with, because you will still have time with them. You'll have time with them at meals. You're going to interact with things, but try to make your voyage your own and don't try to make your voyage align with other people's. We kind of separated, and I enjoyed that because we got to experience different things and then come together and see, how our story differed. Tip number 4, interact with everyone. Interact with all of the cast members that you can, whether you're at the gift shop, whether it's your server. Each one of them has a home planet and has a backstory, and it's very interesting, and it's just really, it's fun and it's different. To also go along with that, interact with your fellow travelers. We met some fantastic people on our voyage that we're still in contact with, and it was just really neat to meet people who had a common interest and we're so excited to be on the voyage like we were. So definitely talk to as many people as you can, whether they're cast members or characters or your fellow cruisers. Tip number 5, do not miss your lightsaber training or your bridge training. I have heard people say, well, I'm not really into the bridge training. I don't really want to do that. Absolutely do it. Do not miss it. It's a one-of-a-kind experience that I think that you'll enjoy. And the lightsaber training is unreal. That was one of my, well, there's lots of favorite parts, but that was definitely a highlight of our voyage. Tip number 6, if you look at your schedule and your lightsaber training and or your bridge training happens later in the day on day 2, when you arrive, talk to a cast member and see if you can move it to day 1. The reason being is it leads to more cast member interaction, which can give you more missions and can affect your story. And if you have it later in the day, on day 2, your story has kind of shaped by then, and you may have missed things that you otherwise could have done. Tip number 7, you can go to Batu at any time. Your schedule may say a departure time, but you can really go at any time. I think they're trying to stagger people's departure, but the first departure is at 8 a.m. If you are trying to get on that first departure, plan to be there a little bit early, because they do something before you depart. And ours took about 10 minutes before we actually departed. I don't want to give it away, but they do something. So you should get there a little bit earlier if you're trying to get that first departure into Batu. Tip number 8. Everything on your schedule in orange is something that you should do and shouldn't miss. The only reason why you should miss something on your schedule that is in orange is if someone, a character, tells you or asks you, invites you to do something else, then I would probably go with that character and do something unless it's that bridge or lightsaber training. But also know if you miss your bridge or lightsaber training and it's earlier in your voyage, you can't have it rescheduled. We missed our lightsaber training. We were a few minutes late. We were doing something else and they rescheduled us. So know that they probably don't want everyone to do that, but you can do that. And for some things, it's okay if you're late. So if you're invited to a secret meeting or a different event, it's okay if you're a few minutes late, including dinner. Try not to be late for dinner, but they will absolutely accommodate you. However, trust the process and don't try to change too many things on your schedule. Keep checking your schedule throughout your voyage though, because other things will pop up as you're invited to things. So just live by the schedule, but don't die by the schedule. Tip number 9, do not be afraid to leave a scheduled event early. I attended a few and I thought, I'm not really getting anything from this, and I was invited to this other thing, or there's something else on my schedule that I want to go to. Feel free to leave and go to the other thing because you may be missing out on something you might enjoy a little bit more. Tip number 10, you can choose to partake in as little or as much as you want. So we met someone on our voyage and she really wasn't into it. She was just really along for the ride and ended up kind of following the people she was with around a little bit. Also spent a lot of time just in the atrium having a drink, enjoying it, and watching everything unfold. So you can absolutely partake as much or as little as you want. Also, that being said, you can choose to go to something if you're invited to or not. Just because a character invites you to something doesn't mean that you have to go. You can absolutely skip that and do something else. But know that not everyone is invited to secret meetings. I personally didn't get invited to secret meetings, but some people that we met all did, and my husband and my son got invited to them. I really wasn't as all in as they were, so that's probably why. But know that if you get invited to like a secret meeting, it's definitely a small group. From my understanding, a lot of times it was like 10 or 15 people that went to a secret meeting. Tip number 11, look at everything on the ship. Everything on the ship has a purpose, has a meaning. There are consoles in the atrium that you can play with, and definitely check them multiple times, even per day, because it can lead to secret missions. I don't want to give too much away, but definitely just explore everything, and if there's a button to be pushed, push it. Tip number 12, when you arrive in your cabin, your host will introduce you to D309. Try to interact with her as much as you can and check in with her every time you return to your cabin. We personally didn't, and I realized we missed out on some things, so definitely interact with her. And here's a pro tip I learned after. Ask her to read you a bedtime story. Tip number 13, this voyage is exhausting. I know it doesn't seem like it, but you're gonna be go, go, go the entire time. So try to rest when you can, take breaks when you can, but know if you take a break, you may miss something. But try to arrive at the voyage well rested and know that the day you leave, you're probably going to be tired. Tip number 14, bring a portable charger. Most of this voyage is going to be on your cell phone, and your battery is gonna die, and it's gonna stink if you have to go back to your room to charge your phone. So definitely bring a portable charger, external battery, to keep that phone going. And tip number 15, wear comfortable shoes. You are gonna walk a lot. You're gonna be up and down the stairs from one end of the halcyon to the other, and I think that on both day 1 and 2, we walked 10,000 steps, which is a lot. That's like almost what we do at a day at Disney. And so just wear comfortable shoes and know that you're gonna get a lot of exercise. There are elevators, but it definitely takes you longer to go up and down the floors versus on the elevator versus if you do the stairs. Okay, so those are my 15 tips for the Galactic Starcruiser. Tell me in the comments below, do you have a tip? Did I miss something? Is there something that you think that people need to know before their voyage? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd love for you to subscribe if you have not already. I post new videos every week. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!